What's good, YouTube family, podcast world? What's up, man? You already know the name. It's Pays and Plays podcast here, giving y'all week 3 NFL picks. We did very well last week. I know I posted it on a short, and I will have to kind of correct myself. I did say Miami was the best bet also. They did lose. So we're looking at 4-2-1. Seattle got the push at -3. I got that last minute. Sometimes you got to wait it out because sometimes you see that 3.5. And when I recorded it and it was that 3, it literally switched maybe like an hour later to 3.5. Actually, I think a little bit less than an hour because it literally changed right when I saw it again. So, sometimes you can find your numbers at, you know, decent odds, but it depends. Like, I found Jets -4 and I got that in that cash, but I got that at Sunday at like 3 in the morning. So overall we're 8-4-2 against the spread, and best bets. So hey, 66% win total so far. I can't complain. And to anybody who out there, I'm gonna publicly let this be known. I don't do parlays. So if you are thinking, you're looking for parlays over here, you can exit out the channel because you know I don't go fully based off parlays. Now, sometimes I will throw out teaser parlays for spreads, and it makes sense. But I don't go overboard with 4 or 5, 6. I go about maybe 4 or 5 legs. I don't as far as teaser spreads, but some people straight up every week do $100 and do 7 legs and then don't win shit. Come on now. I'd rather be counting some coins at least. Like that parlay should be it should be a hell. All parlays to me is Hail Marys, but that should be a if you happen to hit, you hit. But anyway, let's get right into it. These lines this week, I've looked very close games. A couple games aren't, but most of these numbers I have to say, is pretty much damn near spot on for what I've been watching the last 2 weeks. So let's start with Thursday night football. We got the New England Patriots traveling to, I was about to say New Jersey. They traveling out to the Meadowlands to take on the Jets. Jets are -6.5 point favorites. Pats to cover. Jets to win. Yeah, that sweat for Jets -4 was really crucial towards the end. I'm glad the Titans went for it on 4th down instead of kicking the field goal. I'm glad that happened. But it is a little bit of more chemistry they got to build up, as far as the Jets, right? The Jets did lose. They may have lost Johnson maybe for the rest of the year. I hope not. I haven't checked the news, but when you get sit on that cart, I know that ain't a good thing. So they just, this is just chemistry you have to see, right? We see Garrett Wilson and Aaron Rodgers have that relationship. It's just that everybody else has to get acclimated. We saw a nice touchdown run by Braylon Allen. We know what Breece Hall is going to do. And with the Patriots, listen, the defense is, look, Gerard Mayo hasn't coached a bad game yet. I'm just going to say that. I thought the last week, even though they lost to Seattle, they took it to overtime. They lost by 3. But I feel like his coaching as defense, it will be a defensive game. And that's why I think the Pats will cover. And, we saw with the Jets defense, there is a little concern. You can run on this Jets defensive line. You have to wonder with the Jets, how long will it be before they get Hassan Reddick? This is a game where you probably would need him. Next game, we got the New York Giants going to Cleveland, take on the Browns. Browns -6.5 point favorites. Yeah, I'm going with the Browns to win the cover. And I know people are going to say, well, Daniel Jones looked pretty good last week. Well, yeah, he did against the Washington team with no secondary. Look, I was one of the few people, I bet the Commanders -1. I was one of the few people to actually sit there and watch the whole entire game. So I can tell you how that turned out, right? So, yeah, it was look, him and Malik Neighbors, I will say this, Daniel Jones did have a good game. Malik Neighbors had a good game. That one time when he should have had that catch and they went for him. I think them going for it on 4th down around that time was very questionable. Just kick a field goal because the Commanders weren't scoring touchdowns. But this game, though, I think it's a lot harder because Cleveland, I think, has kind of woken up. But I think if this game is anything close to the Giants side, it's because we know Deshaun Watson. We know how he plays, bro. He's mid. I know Jackson. I know they beat Jacksonville last week, but I think you get the point, right? That offense is still shaky as hell. I think at this point it is Deshaun Watson because they had Joe Flacco come in and he was okay. They won though, so I guess that's why he ain't on the hot seat so far. Next game, we got the Chicago Bears, the Bears, traveling to Indianapolis, take on the Colts. Colts are minus 1.5 point favorites. Going with the upset. I got the Bears to win the cover. I think this is the week Caleb Williams gets his first touchdown passing. I mean, this Colts secondary isn't good. And I still there's no excuse to why you should have lost to the Packers, bro, without Jordan Love. There's really no excuse behind that one. Anthony Richardson, I mean, technically you could look at it as last year as a red shirt year because he still technically learned the game. It was some passes where I was like, and shout out to Eric Wilson, former high school teammate, high school person. Shout out to him. He caught an interception on him. That was a bad throw. But, that's what happens, bro. I mean, I can't trust the Colts as a favorite. That's just like my advice. And I know the Bears with Caleb Williams, he's trying to figure it out. But depending on where you had that number against the Texans, you probably cover with the Bears still. And the Bears defense is kind of good. So I will say, look, I would take the Bears to win this game outright. I think Caleb Williams has about 2 touchdowns, bro. I mean, you have the weapons. DJ, bro, they have the weapons to win this game. That's just my overall opinion. Give me the plus 100 on the money line for the Chicago Bears. Granted, a lot of these games coming up are very 1.5 point favorites. We'll talk more about it, but these are really, really tricky. Next game, you got the Houston Texans traveling to Minneapolis, take on the Vikings, Minnesota Vikings. Vikings plus 2.5. I got the Vikings to win in the cover. It's crazy that I'm saying it like this. Houston, okay, so when I look at Houston as a favorite, if they're like minus 1, they just don't cover. They kind of remind me of Kansas City to a degree, right? Where Kansas City, they'll win games for you, but they won't cover. And I feel like in this one, I think they'll just lose this game outright. This is a game where I think they just lose because it comes to coaching. And the one thing about Brian Flores, bro, he's coming at you quickly. And I mean, he's a good coach. I don't think he'll be a head coach no more because he got into that bullshit when he was with Miami. But I just think this is a game when Texans just lose. I don't really know too much science about it. It's any given Sunday, so that's also my mindset. And I mean, that's just how I look at it, bro. So give me the Vikings to win the cover, 2.5. Next game, we got the Philadelphia Eagles traveling to New Orleans to take on the Saints. Saints minus 2.5 point favorites. Okay, damn. This one is tough because we saw that bullshit that went down last night with Philly when they pretty much should have won that game. New Orleans, they've been hot. I'm gonna look at it like this. I'm going with New Orleans. Would I bet this game? Absolutely not. Either or. I rather trust the team that I've been seeing that the defense hasn't lost a step. The offense has been hot. We know Derek Carr eventually is bound to cool down, but you have to wonder how long would that be. But while he's hot, you might as well do it while he's hot. You look at Philly defense. I mean, bro, Kirk Cousins moved that, bro. Kirk Cousins. Did y'all watch that game? To anybody who really sat there and watched that shit, I mean, bro, he was fucking shaking in the pocket, and Kirk Cousins was just moving. Bro, it took 4 plays to move down the ball and score on him. I can't trust his defense, bro. And honestly, bro, it's looking kind of hot. And Jalen Hurts, the one thing about him, I know that now he's got the bag. You know, he's had experience playing in big games. But I think the problem is now that it's so much expectations because you've been to a Super Bowl. You're one of the highest paid QBs. I've always said about Jalen Hurts, he makes 3 or 4 plays that just changes games. And then he makes 3 or 4 plays where you're like, what the hell you're doing? Like that interception. Like, bro, what? And he always wants to throw deep ball passes. I think honestly, in looking at Hurts from college to now, he's always been like I think a good medium passer, not a good deep throw passer. But he got deep threats that make up for him maybe not being the best of deep throw passers. But this game right here, like I said, this Philly defense is just awful. And you go into New Orleans right now and they're hot. I think New Orleans just takes advantage and wins this game outright. 2.5. See, a lot of these games are 2.5s. And I feel like if you like the favorite, you're pretty much saying, look, if I take the 2.5, I'm pretty much hoping they win by 3. And, it could be a tied game and you're about to be in field goal range. You win the game, right? You win and recover. So just my thoughts when I look at the difference between 2.5, 3.5, that gap, because, either you can win or you can lose off the hook. And I know a lot of people took Seattle, for instance. It was 3.5. They won by 3. I took 3. I got a push. So this just a heads up on how the numbers work. Next game. This is an interesting one. I probably think I'm betting this one. I'll say this is a close slate. You got the LA Chargers going to Pittsburgh, take on the Steelers. Steelers are minus 1.5 point favorites. I'm going with the Chargers to win the cover. I'll tell you the difference between both of these teams. Chargers have scored touchdowns. They have scored tutties. Denver scored. The Steelers scored, 1 touchdown in the last 2 games? I mean, their defense is good. So, yeah, I give them that. And the way they actually game plan with Justin Fields, I actually like it. You don't have to do too much. And when we need you to throw those deep passes, we give you like 3 or 4. And he's been on the money with them. But there's only been the Pickens. So we already know there's only really one receiver right now, right? And they got a run game, of course, but I just think with Jim Harbaugh, bro, he's gonna play time of possession, bro. I think he knows his secondary and stuff. I mean, I think time of possession with Harbaugh is going to show because he knows how to play games like this where you have to run the ball, chew up the clock. And at this point, too, I'm taking a better quarterback on this side, too. I'll take Herbert before I take Justin Fields, bro. I like what Fields do athletically, but Herbert, this is the first time where we've seen Herbert don't have to sling it like that. And look what Harbaugh has done with Quentin Johnson, the guy from TCU. He remember playing against this guy when he was coaching Michigan in the playoff game. He's utilizing this guy. And this guy was a first-round pick receiver. So the expectation to a degree is there. J.K. Dobbins is looking good. Listen, this offensive line is solidified. And the thing about Harbaugh is a great game time adjustment, bro. That's what the Harbaughs are good at doing. So I'm taking the upset. Well, it's probably like maybe like plus 105 or something like that. A lot of these lines, like I said, are kind of close. So I'm taking the Chargers. And I know people are going to say, oh, well, they're traveling from the west to the east. Well, when they left the game in Charlotte with the Panthers, they're still in the East Coast area. So they're already time adjusted. So Harbaugh knows what he's doing. He's going to Pittsburgh. He knows about Pennsylvania. Next game, we got the Denver Broncos traveling to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Buccaneers minus 6.5 point favorites. I got the Broncos to cover, Buccaneers to win. And I just believe because last week was a big win for the Bucs. A lot of people didn't think they was going to beat the Lions. I'm one of the few people. This is why I said check into the upset alert episode every week. There was the possibility of that happening, and I called it. However, though, when you win a big game like that, there is usually kind of a slimmer letdown spot. And I believe, look, we know Bo Nick's been running with like a chicken without his head, bro. We've seen it. I mean, he's all of these rookie quarterbacks haven't scored a touchdown yet, passing touchdown. Jay Daniels ran, of course, but you know what I'm saying? Like, so they're all trying to figure it out, and I understand it, right? Because all these quarterbacks now, because the quarterbacks, let's be honest, the quarterbacks in this day of age are so watered down. Let's just be 100% honest about it. I mean, to the point where you have to be a first round pick quarterback and play now. It isn't the old school. Okay, we drafted you. I mean, some teams do it, right? We see what Kansas City did. We saw what Philly did with Jalen Hurts, right? We kind of see it, but a lot of people don't do that. So we'll see what happened with Penix, you know, with that situation in Atlanta, right? I think that's maybe the closest thing we see with Jordan Love. However, Broncos need bro. I mean, at this point, bro, Sean Payton knows how to go to Tampa, right? We seen him beat the Bucs like it's nothing. He's familiar with what goes on there. I think they should win this game. I think they damn near might win this game, but I'm taking them to cover the 6.5. But this is very fucking possible, bro. Because 0-3 and you're Sean Payton, bro. You're at this point you're already gonna be on the hot seat, and you just came in second year. Next game, we got the Green Bay Packers traveling to Tennessee to take on the Titans. Titans 2.5-point favorites. I'm gonna go Titans to win the cover. Not a lot of science about it. I don't bet my team, like I say, with the Packers, and Malik Willis didn't do much of shit to be a quarterback. It was just off the run ball, and he made that one pass, but who knows? If his job was to really pretty much win one game, if he wins another game and then he loses the next two, that's pretty much the best expectation of Malik Willis until Jordan Love comes back. I'm done talking about this game. Next game, we got the Carolina Panthers. Bench Young traveling to Las Vegas to take on the Raiders. Raiders -5.5. Raiders to win the cover. I don't really know what else to say about this Carolina team. Every season you hope that teams are just better than they were, right? Especially with these rebuilds, how things go. We see Houston did it, right? Swapped out everybody, and then they got better and better. Now they got a lot of expectations, right? This Panthers team was fucking terrible. As somebody who claims Charlotte as a second home, this team is fucking terrible. The owner is fucking terrible. I'm just going to say it out loud like that. He's fucking terrible, bro. You traded all of these assets, bro, for Bryce fucking Young. And this guy is fucking sucks. I'm convinced, and I try to give him a chance. You're too fucking little. You can't see over the line like that. You don't move. You're not elusive. You can't be a dual threat. You don't throw deep passes. You're scared to throw a fucking ball. What are you doing? And Tepper had already publicly came out and said we will move on with somebody. Well, he got benched. And I know that's very bold for Canales. And then Canales hits him with, he's still our quarterback of the future. I don't think so. But this goes to what I said not long ago, right? Some quarterbacks need to sit back and just learn. And they do got Andy Dalton, and he's been a long time quarterback, so we know about Andy Dalton. But maybe they should have did that last year, and then Bryce Young may be a lot better this time around. I thought I saw, and it makes so much sense why this team didn't play him all preseason. I think Canales know he not it. So, and I got asked why the Panthers games tickets going for $1 because they fucking suck. They fucking suck. It's just the truth about it. They suck. I checked tickets because I'm trying to go back when they play Kansas City. That's like the most expensive ticket because it's Kansas City, right? But other than that, who the fuck wants to go to a Panthers game, bro? You're not cheering on the Panthers. I tell you that. At this point, you're not. Raiders, listen, they had a great win against the Ravens. That energized this team, bro. Coach Pierce is starting to learn how to coach NFL. We can say that. He's a lot more gutsier. And shout out to that coaching staff. You got Marvin, bro. This dude has NFL head coaches, bro, on the staff, bro. You got Tom Coughlin as your advisor. Pierce know what he's doing, bro. Give me Raiders to win and cover. But I had to feel how I feel about the Panthers, bro. They fucking disgust me. Next game, we have the Miami Dolphins traveling to Seattle. Take on the Seahawks. Seahawks -5.5. Yeah, this line was 6.5 like Sunday night. But I'm going with the Seahawks 5.5. If this line keeps shrinking more and more, because I'm sure sharp money definitely came in on the Dolphins, But my thing is, you're relying on Skylar Thompson. I don't know about that yet. I mean, I don't know. This Miami team, another team, bro. They don't show up for big games, but this game right here with no Tua, them going to the West, and them facing McDonald, who McDonald dominated her. Look, McDonald dominated this offense twice, right? The first time why they lost because Baltimore offense fucked up. But that defense, that second time around, they shut down this Miami offense. It's the same guy, McDonald, who knows what he's doing. I'm taking 5.5. I'm holding off. I do have a future with Seattle, of course, so I might hedge, but I'm going to actually wait. Because if this number gets down to it's 5.5 now, so I'm thinking this number probably drops to maybe if it drops to 4, I might be curious to take that one. Not 5.5, 4.5. Anywhere between 3 and 4, I probably would take Seattle. Next game, we got the Detroit Lions traveling to Arizona, take on the Cardinals. Cardinals plus 3-point home dogs. Y'all know I love the dogs. But the Detroit Lions, this is the game y'all need to win. I need to win and cover this game outright. I don't. There's no excuse, and I like what Dan Campbell said. This one's on me, and I like that. So that means that I expect you to have a great coach and game plan, and I think this is the game where you wake up. Okay. Now you need to see, and the thing about the Lions that does trouble me. They struggle, and this is not just with Dan Campbell. This is with any of the coaches. They struggle with mobile quarterbacks. I mean, Baker's not as mobile, and he made Malcolm Rodriguez break his ankles and knees, bro. We saw that play. Everybody who watched that game saw that shit. That shit was crazy. But I mean, you think Kyler can't do that? And he got the baseball speed. This is when I say Lions win the cover. But when I talk about the upset alert video, which I will be making that probably later on tonight and drop it Wednesday morning. You guys will see how I probably feel about Arizona. I can't sleep on this team. This team covered 2-0 off rip, so that is kind of a hot start. But give me Lions to win the cover for the moment though. But this game will be our upset alert video for sure. So check out for that. Next game, we got the Baltimore Ravens traveling to Dallas to take on the Cowboys. Them girls. Cowboys is plus 1.5 point underdogs. Give me the Ravens to win the cover. Give me Baltimore. I'm making. You know what? I'm gonna make it the best bet. Yeah, make this the best bet, bro. Give me Ravens -1.5. I don't see this team. Bro, ain't no way Harbaugh can let this fucking game happen, bro. I betted the Raiders plus 9.5, but they were up. There were times where they dominated that game, And for some reason, it was just some fluke shit after some fluke shit. I said the offensive line is a problem, but the Achilles heel for the Cowboys, the Saints showed it. Run the damn fucking rock. Run the rock. You can run the rock. Y'all can run the rock, bro. So if y'all can run the rock, pass is going to be open. That's why Derek Carr was so fucking comfortable. Alvin Kamara was going crazy. So then it was easy for him. I mean, Lamar, you can do, look, Lamar could probably single-handedly win this game for him, but we're going to see another better performance from Derrick Henry. He played better. I will say that. They got him more involved. But this is when you need that other running back, that little quick agile running back, and they don't have that, but I guess that's why Lamar has to fill in for that. This team should win this game. Cowboys, I tell you guys every year how fluke they are. Right? They do this shit every year and get people. And this was a game where I thought last week they should have did it, but this is what I'm saying. When you lose Bland, you're relying on Trayvon Diggs, right? And not tripping on that, good player, but Cleveland didn't. Obviously, Deshaun Watson's not it in Cleveland. Ravens, this game is desperation mode. You're 0-2. You can't be 0-3 in the AFC North. You can't. You got to win this game. So I'm going with the Ravens to win and cover it, just because this is a desperation spot for them. Next game, we got the San Francisco 49ers traveling to LA to take on the Rams. Rams plus 7.5 point underdogs. I don't even want to bet the Rams now after this shit I fucking saw. That team just didn't show up. It shit the bed. And that happens. I don't know about the offensive line situations. I'm going with the 49ers to win and cover, and I just got to hope this number drops. Now, I don't say I do parlays like that. I have said that. But I'm going to give you a teaser option. If you tease that 7.5 San Francisco, whether it's 6 or 7 points, you can get that 1.5 to just a half, and they just got to win. So that's my approach in this game. San Francisco did have it was kind of a shootout to a degree with the Vikings. They kind of hung in there, but they couldn't win that game. That's why I say the Vikings with that defense, that team is actually kind of dangerous. But Rams, the offensive line is awful. No depth. No depth. If you don't have an offensive line, bro, it just don't matter. This game, I expect Bosa to have at least about 2-3 sacks. I just hope they don't hold my boy Matty. Just don't hurt him. That's all. Next game, we got Sunday Night Football. Kansas City Chiefs traveling to Atlanta, ATL, Georgia. Take on the Falcons. Falcons 3.5 point underdogs. I'm leaning towards Chiefs to cover and win. I'm a little stagnant. You know, it was 4.5 last night. I think after that Monday night game, that number dropped a little bit. That's why it's 3.5. I tell you guys about Kansas City, right? They don't cover these type of spreads. So I might actually switch that. I'll take Atlanta to cover. Chiefs to win. I mean, we saw how that Cincinnati game was, bro. Mahomes still do the Brett Favre shit where he just fucking throws fucking dumbass interceptions. Now, that interception with Cam Britt, that shit was crazy, though. When he caught that shit was crazy. But, like, the second one was fucking awful. Pacheco's out. So, they need to use my man Steele, that white boy from Ball State who played at UCLA. That boy can run. They need to use him, bro. And then they got Kareem Hunt. I think they about to come back with too, right? So, they'll be okay. But this game here, I just simply look at it like another typical Chiefs game. It might be some shit towards the end where they got to kind of like pull a rabbit out of their ass and win, but I'm picking them to win. But Atlanta does cover up. It'd probably be like a 3-point game, honestly. That's how I look at it. Next, we got 2 primetime games on Monday at the same time, damn near. I tell y'all my thoughts about that shit. I hate that shit. I missed it when they would do it because of the times. They had the Monday Night Football game in the East Coast at 7:30. and then they'll play like Denver or whoever somewhere out west around 10 o'clock or whatever like that, right? That was perfect if you're gonna do double header games. Why are they so the way they do it now? Because next week, so this week we're gonna have Jags and Bills, and then Washington and the Bengals. Next week we're gonna have the Lions and Seahawks and the Dolphins. Yeah, the Dolphins and the Titans. So pretty much it's a 7:30 game and an 8:15 game. So when it's halftime in one game, the 8:15 game just starts. So by the time the game ends there, it should be halftime on that game, and you watch that game. How fucking stupid is that, bro? Like that shit makes no sense to me. Me as a fan, it's hard on 1 o'clock games, and I know I'm like jibber jabbing a little bit, but I have to watch. Sometimes I watch 4 or 5 games at the same time. And I know a lot of people like, how do you be? Because I watch literally 4 to 6 games at a time. If it's a commercial on a certain game, I'm going to that other game to see if that game is still functioning. Oh, okay, it's a commercial on that one. We're gonna go to this one. I got it set up to where it makes sense for me to do that. But all right, Jags and Bills. Bills 5.5 point favorites. I'm going with the Jags to cover, Bills to win. I hope this number goes up. If this number goes up past 6, I'm definitely taking Jags. It might be a best bet for me. Jags offense is just stagnant. And if I'm Trevor Lawrence, listen, like your number one receiver right now is Brian Thomas. I know he's a rookie, and I know you got Christian Kirk, but you need to start really throwing at them. And the way that the Bills plan was with the Dolphins, I mean, it was smart. That was fucking smart. That was smart. I have to give Doug McDermott his props from that. That's a Riverboat Ron trick, bro. Because I know we know he came from Carolina before he went to the Bills, but Riverboat Ron was there. If y'all didn't know that, but that was smart. Listen, we're not gonna let you beat us in the back end. We just gonna give everything to you up front. And if we let you throw dinky dinks, we'll do that. This is the type of team, the Jags, they might do that and it works. I mean, that's just how it is. But the problem with the Bills eventually throughout the season, it's those damn injuries on defense. They lost 2 linebackers in the damn game against the Dolphins. Like, that's just what I see about this team. So I think the Jags can move the ball. I think it's an under game because the Jags defense have been playing very good. So I think it's an under game. And the thing about the Bills that make them a little dangerous this year than any other time, that game against Miami, pick sixes aren't guaranteed. So they got that. They aren't guaranteed, but they got one. The fact that Josh Allen's not even really, being Josh Allen, they can just they were using James Cook. They were just running the ball. I mean, he was under center just handing the ball off. He didn't even have to do much of passing the ball. So, but the Jags, I think they do have good run defense. And if you're the Jags, you need to get ETN involved and Tank Gisby. Get those 2 running backs involved because one thing I do know, you can't run on this Bills team. I mean, Akey by himself, right? I probably said his name so wrong, the running back from Miami. But he was able to run the rock all game on him. If I'm Jacksonville, you need to definitely exploit that, bro. Because, bro, he was getting about 4 or 5 yards a carry. Like easily. And we know Miami don't have an offensive line. So that's why I think the Jags can cover this game. Slow this game down. Run the ball, play defense. When Trevor Lawrence has an opportunity, get the shot. But really, if they can win this game, but it's up to Peterson and his coaching. That's why I'm not going to say them win outright because Peterson calls these plays, bro. And I think he needs to let the offensive coordinator call play because if I'm them, you're running the ball all game. Then we're hitting you with a play action fake, and let's see what you do after that. And lastly, we got the Washington Redskins. Yes, I'm saying the Redskins because that name's coming back. Chief Redskin wants his goddamn face back on the damn logo. So make it happen, Washington. At Cincinnati Bengals, 7.5 point favorites. Washington to cover, Bengals to win. Not too much science behind it. Washington offensively, they can't score. And that's crazy, right? I picked 2 games the last 2 weeks off teams who just win field goals and they win. They weren't supposed to win that game. That secondary got torched by Malik Neighbors. So that is a concern because Jamar Chase can torch the shit out of them. And the more it's talking, it's more like I'm leaning towards 7.5 with the Bengals. It's just that number is too high. It's too high for a team who hasn't won a game. It's too high for me. It's too rich. My suggestion: take a teaser, drop it down to half, 1.5, whatever. Call it a day. This concludes week 3 against the spread predictions, all of that. Week 3 upset alert. I will, like I said, I will record it later on tonight. It will be dropped Wednesday morning. You guys, do me a favor. Dislike the content. If you don't want to comment, that's cool. I ain't tripping on that. Just like the content. Let's get this algorithm going. Let's get these views up. And as always, let's get this money.